I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Trust me, guys, I know. What is going on, guys? This is your boy Jordan here. I mean, I want to say back again with another video because that's kind of what we do, but I'm also still technically on break. So I'm here in the interlude to get some internship game stuff done. So let's enjoy it. Let's get it. So first of all, for you guys that have been watching this channel for 17 years, through the grind, and I don't all the regular fans, like just as a disclaimer, I put out my last video, so I'm taking a break, and fundamentally I'm still taking a break. Like I'm not back yet. I will eventually have like a little I'm back video. I don't know how it's gonna go yet. I just want to do something a bit more creative. So that will eventually come out in the future, but I have no idea when. Genuinely, the reason why I'm taking this break is the reason why I'm maintaining this break is because I haven't really got anything done yet. And when I say I haven't got anything done yet, I mean, like, of course, academically with my studies. I'm in third year. I've got a deadline in 8 days. Today's November the 4th. Happy birthday, Michael, if you're watching this. My deadline's in the 12th, so I've got to actually do that straight after this video. But what I've mentioned in season 1 and season 2 of the internship game, and if you're new to this internship game, this is season 3. Technically this is episode 2, but it's gonna feel more like an episode 1 because it's been 3 months since I've done the last episode. The whole point of just doing this series is 1, to document it, and 2, for like active feedback and for accountability. Like I can actually go back and see what I'm doing, what my CV was like back then, and it's good to have something going on in the background just in general. But for me, the biggest thing is that if I'm not doing it for YouTube, I'm just not doing it. I haven't sent any. Well, that's not true. I sent one application on September. But the deadline was September 2nd. I don't actually know when I sent it off, and then I got rejected. That was Accenture for a summer insight. But yeah, it's been 2 months, so let's get back in the groove. This video, as I said, this whole series is kind of like a documentation versus like me actually creating any content. So I don't really expect much from this. Right, this is more like a Marvel type of thing. You've got to watch every movie up until Endgame at the end of the season to understand the process and the journey. This is going to be a bit of a short, just an update. But yeah, we're getting back into it. What I'm going to do is, I mentioned in the last video that I'm going to make a Notion spreadsheet to keep track of all the applications I've sent off, the deadlines, just as a portal. This is the way, as a means of keeping track of things. So I'm going to share that with you guys, all of you guys. I'm going to share it in the description down below. So even when I'm not uploading, you can still see what I'm doing. And then if I'm not doing anything in a while, you guys feel free to keep me accountable and be like, yo, what the hell are you doing? I now have like 560 people to be subscribers. I've actually picked up a lot since I stopped uploading, so thank you to everyone who's part of this community. It means a lot to me. Even having one person that care about what I say is fascinating, let alone 500 plus. But yeah, there's actually not much I can go into this. I shared my cover letter and my CV briefly in the last episode. What I'm going to do is, in episode 3, is going to be a proper review, similar to like season 2 and season 1's reviews, where I'm going to break down what I've done and all the changes. And I still need to add my Ash and Fire internship from last season to my CV. I still need to refresh my cover letter written style. I feel like I write differently now. A lot more technical words that I'm familiar with that will help when you're trying to sell yourself for these roles. I always talk about, like, you want to have your first paragraph about you, one about the company, one about the role, or in some order. But there are ways to be more like impressive, I guess, in that process. So I'm working on that. In the meantime, a lot of things will start happening, and the internship game season, is very much back alive. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be consistently uploading again on YouTube as with regular content, because as I said, I'm still on my break. One thing that I want to do is watch MKBHD's Skillshare course before coming back to it. I've only done about 3 videos of that so far, which is like 15 minutes out of an hour and a half, so I'm going to have to come back to that throughout the course of the year, the academic year I should say. But yeah, let me put this Notion thing in front of you guys, and I'm going to put a screenshot on the screen so you can see, like, Accenture, as I mentioned, I've done it, and there are a bunch of other roles here, 15 other roles here, EY, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, Big 4, some Apple, some Google, there's Tesco, Business Diversity there, which might even have passed the deadline by now, I don't even know. The one that I'm bringing the most attention to today is this second to last one, 10,000 black interns, which I think was 100 black interns at first, then it was 1,000 or 10,000, but the deadline for that, I said today's November 4th, the deadline for that is November 7th, I think, it's on Sunday, and that obviously needs to be done before Sunday. The rest of these I think are still rolling deadlines, but they haven't come yet, so I'm still going to keep an eye on them. I'm going to have to add an actual deadline row of this table so I can keep up to date with when things end. And yeah, yeah, basically. Just a bit of, just general discussion for you guys to understand as well. This year, like, I did an internship last year at Ash and Fire, that's a startup, an engineering fire safety startup. I've done roles in the past. It's spring weeks. with like EY, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, like a lot of like banking and finance and financial services roles companies. And some of them have been fun. Most of them I learned a lot from all of them. Bank of America especially was really interesting. But it's like, I think the world that I want to get into now, the more I do, well, just life. Like not everything that I do is based on my career, but the more I kind of live, I really like tech. I really like startups. I really like the venture capital scene. And apparently there are jobs in that scene that exist. So I think the path that I want to take is I want to take a path into VC, PE, venture capital, private equity. Maybe like through tech consulting or business strategy consulting or something like that. Is the path that I want to take. So getting that out of the way from day one is going to make this whole process so much easier, where I know what I want to apply for, what I don't want to apply for. And plus, venture capital is a very niche sector. Like, I can't just apply for any random role and eventually, well, the idea is you can do like IBD, tech consulting, and people kind of end up in VC later on. But it's difficult, like, it's not as broad as like saying I want to work in finance or want to work in engineering. Like, venture capital is quite niche, and specifically I want to work with companies that are more tech focused. Be it whether it's like deep tech or cryptocurrency or like I don't know, like fintech. I've invested in a lot of. I might do another investment video soon at some point, but I invest in like free trade. A bunch of like fintechs, Moneybox, Chip, Plum. So I'm obviously invested in that scene generally. So that's a cool. That's the route that I'm taking. So if you want to see, if you're especially interested in venture capital or tech consulting or Big Four, any of that stuff, this is, now you get to see the journey that I take to do all these summer internships. Like most of them, as you saw from the Notion spreadsheet a minute ago, is tech consulting, strategy, analytics, and M&A, mergers and acquisitions. I don't really care about M&A, but I think that's the name of the role. Venture capital intern at Global Founders Capital, engineering intern. I'm still going to apply for a couple of engineering roles because as someone who studies engineering, I feel like it makes sense. And plus, engineering roles seem to, not necessarily easier to get, but there's a higher demand for engineers than there are for like engineers and software engineers than there are for consultants and then there are for like accountants. There is still demand, there's still like big sectors. And plus, as an engineer, they tend to assume that I'm more numerical. They seem to think that I've got more capability than a traditional economic finance grad. So maybe I'll end up getting more of those than engineering ones anyways. But there's no harm in applying for more stuff unless it gets to a point where it's like obviously I'm going to focus on the ones that I want to do first. But the more the better. This very much is a numbers game. So I guess like to conclude, well, not even to conclude, but just as like a call to action, like drawing a line in the sand for next video's progress. I have this, I'm applying for 1,000 black interns, and I'm going to ask those guys specifically to get me some roles in and around venture capital or tech consulting. If you yourself are a black person, a self-identified black person, and you see this video before November 7th, 2021, I recommend you also apply to that. As I mentioned, I'm going to put the Notion spreadsheet link in the description below. So literally everything that I apply for, if you watch this video before the deadline, you can also apply for those things if you're eligible. It'd be cool to see some people in assessment centres ready for all the smoke. Because if you come to me in an assessment centre on the day and say, oh, I saw your video, that's why I'm here. Like, we'll figure it out when we get to that, bro. That's all from today's video. That's not actually it from today. So one more thing that I want to do is, most of you guys I assume are familiar with the Undergraduate Survival Guide, my podcast, UGSG. If you're not, the link will be in the description below, but fundamentally what we talk about is, I try and talk, if you, regular people from the channel know that I failed my first year and I failed my second year. And because I've been at uni for so long, I kind of felt like I have a lot of knowledge. I know a lot of stuff. I've been through a lot that I feel like people could benefit from. I feel like I could share my experiences. And I know a lot of people who have done like incredible, amazing things. And some people who just haven't really done, some average people. But there's nothing wrong with that. People just living their lives doing their own things. And everyone has the capacity to share that. Well, I like to think so anyway. And a lot of what people say is useful. Like, being average doesn't actually mean much. It means if anything, it means you're more applicable. Most people are average. That's why that's why it's called average, right? That appeals to the bigger demographic. So I like hearing from people. And UGSG is my way of like talking to other students and sharing their experiences and perspectives about all things to do with adulting. Being a student, being not even just a student, like apprentices. Anything like that from this like cool age range. And that's kind of the thing that I've started doing as a podcast, but I've been trying a lot to think about as a business. How can I grow this? What do people actually want? How can I make this as good of a product or I guess a service. I don't know, as good as a thing as possible. Not just strictly for making money, but how can I make it as good as possible? And fundamentally, I can't make it good for as long as it's just a hobby with no money going into it. So I need to take not necessarily a business perspective, but at least a growth perspective. At least consider it as a product and think about ways to improve it. So one thing that I'm going to do, I said I was going to do, was apply for University of Bristol. The career service have an enterprise team, and they have a lot of things going on for like startups and enterprises. And one of them is a new enterprise competition, which has 3 stages: idea phase, development phase, and growth phase. Stage, and you can only apply to one at a time, as far as I know. Ideas is like where I'm going to be applying for. The other 2 don't really matter, but I'll talk about development a bit as well, because I can, like, growth is final year only, so that'll be next year for me. But ideas and development are 2 cool ones. So ideas is you pitch your idea for like 5 minutes, and the general, I've said idea a lot. I don't want to say idea another time, but the general idea is that you're pushing this to a bunch of some panelists who want to see like what you're thinking, what your idea is. I would like to start a podcast. You can pitch for up to £200, and you're saying I want £200 to do some like market research. I'm gonna do some ads on Instagram, see what people like. I'm gonna get some more guests on the show, buy a microphone, maybe do this, do that, and just see what the scalability is of this platform. Maybe you want to prove, like in my case, because I've already started it, I can already prove that it's what do they say? There are these 3 buzzwords that they always use in like the startup world. It's like desirable, feasible, and viable, I think. So desirable means like, do people want it? Feasible means like, can you even do it? Is it even possible? And then viable means, are they going to pay for it? Like once it's done, is it actually viable as an economic decision, as a business move? And I think I can already prove desirability. Like I've got a bunch of followers on Instagram with people listen to the show, that people obviously listen to it and care about it and like it. Feasibility, can it be done? Like it's a podcast, I've got an internet connection, a camera, a microphone, like I'm pretty sorted. Feasibility. I guess what I want to prove is viability. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you guys this before I even apply for them. that might shoot me in the foot later. But I'm going to try and pitch UGSG as a business and hopefully get £200 funding from this ideas phase. The problem again is that the deadline is it's tomorrow. The deadline's Friday the 5th of November, so I have about 24 hours to get this done. I've got to come up with a whole pitch, and booking your pitch after you receive an email confirming you received your application, you can book a 10-minute video pitch. Pitching days are the 9th, the 10th, and 11th of November, and my deadline is on the 12th. So we're going to have a very, very, very cushy 8 days coming up. But that's great. I mean, life's always like this. It's funny when I talk about it on a video, people are like, oh wow, it's crazy, but that's just it. I don't always talk about how stressful things are, but 3rd year engineering is pretty stressful on its own, hence why I'm on a break from videos. But yeah, I'm going to apply to this ideas phase very, very soon. Again, if you're a British student and you're seeing this in time, of course apply, that'd be great. The second phase is development. Now, I don't think I have the tab open for that, because I'm stupid. But fundamentally, you can pitch in development phase. You can pitch for up to £1,000, I think, and that doesn't open until December 10th. And then the actual interviews take place in Feb. So if I get everything sorted between now and December, well, now and like Feb maybe. I don't actually know when the deadline is, but the pitches are in February. I think the deadline is probably around about Jan as well. So I could feasibly apply to both, I think. I'll have to talk to someone about that first. But obviously for now, the objectivity ideas stage, because the deadline's tomorrow, and I haven't actually got a proof of concept yet. I can't develop the podcast as a business yet, because the business element doesn't exist. I don't really have any means of making money. There are no ads. I don't have any merch. I don't offer any services like tutoring or CV readings, which, as you can tell, like I've thought about all these things, and I would like them to come in the future. Actually, you know what? With the internship game, if any of you guys need specific help with any internships, CVs, cover letters, I'm not gonna come out here and say I'm gonna specifically mentor you or anything like that yet. But feel free to message me on like LinkedIn or Instagram, or whatever. Like, we can get a little conversation going, and if there's enough people that want to talk about this, maybe we can even start like a little community on a Discord or something, and have like just everyone talk to each other. That would be a cool way to offer something to you guys for being so great watching all these videos so far. And yeah, like, it's literally that's kind of the end of the main content. So if you're bored at this point, you feel free to take off. But it's crazy thinking, like, So ever since I took a break from YouTube and the podcast because I wanted to focus on my studies. But literally every day I wake up like, oh, I don't want to study. I just want to do YouTube. Like I'd rather make a video. I'd rather do something fun. I'd rather do something that I actually want to do. And even though I'm still like studying and stuff, it has been interesting being away from it because now I've got all these new ideas, a refreshed. The ambition still isn't quite there yet. The hunger isn't quite there yet. I guess I'm still not ultra passionate about something that's not paying me. The main goal, I still need to get paid. I still need to have a job. Pay for rent and things like that. So there's still a bit of like a barrier towards. This is my camera lens cap. There's still like a barrier between me like actually putting out as much effort into this as possible. And well, I guess the alternative, I guess, is not doing that. But I enjoy this. I'm looking forward to getting back in the game. As of right now, that's a long future proposal. But for right now, let's get these internships done. It's now 11:41, so I'm going to apply for this NEC competition, the new intern competition ideas phase today. Hopefully the application isn't too long, but I'll keep you guys updated with that. Pretty much everything will be kept on the Notion page. So I'm still going to have these videos as like pillars throughout the process, so you know what's going on. But for the first time, I'm going to open up this spreadsheet so you guys can actually see what I'm doing in real time, well, relative real time. And that would be the best way to gauge what I'm doing if you actually care about my individual process, my individual progress. Whereas for the internships in general and for the tips and hints and whatever, the videos will keep coming. So thank you guys for watching this. It was great being back. If you have anything that you want me to see me do, don't message me yet, because as I said, I am still technically on break. I just need to do these internship game videos because otherwise I won't apply to anything. But anything internship specific, get at me. LinkedIn's the place. I'm not even going to pitch Instagram no more. Just LinkedIn's the place. And with that out of the way, let's get it going. Once I do submit this NEC application, the podcast UGSG is coming back. So check that out down below in the description as well. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.